Hi, I'm Mario Mancini, former WWE wrestler and first inductee into the 2014 New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. When I want my wrestling news, I watch the Squared Circle.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is June 17th, 2014. We are days removed from the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. We are 1 week, almost 1 week away from the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, almost 2 weeks away from Money in the Bank. I'm Hollywood J. Williams. I am joined this week by none other than Mr. John Zimmerman, of course.
That's right.
And in for the vacationing thunderous one, Tom Dacey, Mr. Will Petraccio.
Thank you guys.
Welcome to our team, sir.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you.
Definitely.
I've known this young man since he was a young boy, actually.
Yeah.
Really?
I've watched him growing up. He's friends with my sons, and this young gentleman has more wrestling knowledge in his short period of time than I think you or I do.
Wow. We're going to have to test his knowledge.
He was at Mania this year, so we'll get some highlights of that. I know we're a little removed, but we got somebody that, first-hand account that can tell us about what happens right after the streak was broken and some of the other...
we're at it. So we're going to add to our Squared Circle panel
That's
of
correct.
Contributors here.
Yeah.
Joining Aubrey, we'll have Will Petraccio.
Yep.
And we don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet.
Yeah, yeah. We've got some good stuff on the horizon. Hopefully, I was in negotiations on Monday with PWA. We've got a huge announcement coming up on not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday at the Connecticut Chiefs game. We're going to start a tournament, and our show, the Squared Circle, is going to be heavily involved in the outcome of that tournament, and we're going to let Pete, or actually Joseph Von Schmidt, make the announcement on Sunday. So next Sunday, Connecticut Chiefs game, East Haven High School. You're going to have some PWA wrestling before the football game and at halftime. So get there early and enjoy yourself. You're going to, what's better than football and wrestling, all on the same day, all for the same one low price? It's incredible.
That's a pretty good deal. I mean, I can't say I follow football, but if you did, that's a really good deal.
Things. Now, that's right around the corner from us.
Yeah, right down the street, actually.
That's around the corner from the guy that looks like me.
Yeah. Yep.
That works at that warehouse.
That warehouse.
Yeah, that's not me.
No.
I wouldn't be quite dead working in a warehouse now.
If you were dead, you'd probably be in a warehouse.
Anyway.
Hey now. But getting
to our news, we have a lot of, speaking of jobs and layoffs and things, a lot of layoffs happened at the WWE this week, of all places. We'll get to those.
Cleaning house,
but probably the most important one out of them all is head writer Jay Gibson being cut by WWE CEO Vince McMahon over this past weekend. Now, sources believe the change was made on Friday, which could have been the day after the WWE released these 11 individuals as part of their first wave of internal changes. Now, the Raw from last night was the first TV without this man Gibson. I don't think he's of any relation to Robert Gibson, as far as I know.
No.
But now this led to some of the satire you saw last night with the drinks and Stephanie getting sick and being rushed to the hospital. That had a lot of Vince McMahon's fingerprints on it. He has a weird sense of humor like that. So that's a noticeable change last night. Vince is spearheading these changes as a result of the not exactly getting up to that 1 million mark of subscribers for the network. Also, the disappointing to him, the TV renewal for NBC Universal, not getting the money that he really, really wanted out of that.
Right. Now, what did you hear about? We were talking about this before the show. What did you hear about the, I guess, layoffs or?
I heard the same thing, mainly that was due to the network not making, they lost $350 million, and now they're just trying to make budget cuts. And now, besides making more releases, they're actually going to start cutting the budget of NXT.
Yeah, I had heard that too.
They're going to start cutting the budget of NXT,
And also the
which doesn't really have too much of a budget as it is.
right, and also the reports are going to say they're cutting back on some pyro, some entrances, and just massive cost-cutting measures to try to, scale in the revenue. And
we're not going to see Raw live from the Bristol Boys and Girls Club, are we, eventually? 'Cause that would be really cutting back.
Yeah, they're looking to save money wherever they can, and they are changing the sets. I also heard.
Yeah, they took some of the trucks off the road that carry, like, Fandango doesn't have his big curtain anymore.
So every little bit helps. So we're going to see some massive changes, which I think it's going to force them to focus on the product more than the presentation.
Right. Which, we're there to see the product. We're not there to see Fandango's little curtain.
Right.
Right.
Would you agree? What are you thinking?
I definitely agree with that. I'd like to see, a better product over better production.
Yeah. I mean, how many decades did wrestling go without the Titantron?
Right.
And without,
Without pyro, I mean, if you look at back in the day, Hogan didn't have pyro.
No.
Never did. And especially the guys prior to that, it was unheard of, right? I mean, it wasn't until like Sergeant Slaughter with the Battle Hymn of the Republic, the Marine hymn,
Right.
to come in with entrance music.
Right.
So
You look at some of these Madison Square Garden things on the network. Some of them don't even have entrance music. They're just right. They come right out to the ring.
Right.
And
yeah, that's my point. And so.
You see this big archaic-looking microphone come down from the ceiling.
Right, everybody says this is not going to stay up today. Everyone says that the golden age of wrestling. Well, there it was. It was wrestling. It wasn't the spectacle that it is. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with some of the entrance music. I mean, the music is great, and they've had some seriously good artists.
Exactly.
Play a lot of the music. I mean, you're a fan of some of the heavier stuff, right?
Yeah, and I mean, having someone like Randy Orton, having popular rock bands do their music, that draws more people to watch the product just because of that alone.
Yeah. So I mean, there's got to be some balance. I think, having the special curtain come on just for one guy for all of like a couple of minutes on a 3-hour show, like you said, it took a one tractor trailer off the road.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's smart. And if you look at the Ring of Honor, they're doing it with zero production. And it's all in ring.
I mean, you can even, Ring of Honor kind of reminds me, go looking back at the old ECW.
Yep.
They didn't have pyro. They had, a cheap little entrance stage and cheap little lights, and that's how they did their thing.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You got to get back to the basics and focus on the match. It probably has nothing to do with cost-cutting measures, but I'd like to see the matches go a little longer.
Yeah.
A little less talking in the ring and a little more action.
Well, you know what? If they keep firing writers, they're not going to have any lines to say in the ring, so they're going
Right.
to have to put their bodies where their mouth was.
Exactly. Unless they just put it in the hands of the talent and let them decide what they're going to say. But they don't really operate that way, though, in WWE.
Well, I think there's room for at least creative. Give them some bullet points, because not every guy can talk like The Rock. Not every
No.
guy can talk, like Stone Cold, and not every guy can talk like Bobby Heenan or
Right.
Lou Albano. So you definitely need some sort of guidance, especially for the younger guys. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, I mean, there's some guys that go in there like Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, who are phenomenal on the mic.
Yep.
But then you have people who you'll put out there on the mic and, they have a hard time. Even someone like CM Punk, one of the best people that ever did promos.
CM Punk, he just redefined everything with that pipe bomb.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I always called him like a sober Steve Austin.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah,
You
That's a pretty good comparison.
should hashtag that.
Right. It's somebody who just says what he wants and does what he wants. Doesn't have to have a beard in his hand like Austin. Not
Right.
that wasn't cool.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
Well, I mean, that was his thing.
That was his
But
thing.
then you got a guy like Ryback that can't talk.
Not at all.
You got a guy like Big E, can't talk.
Can't really talk at all. No.
You know, I mean, maybe you can teach him at some point, but right at the moment. And we've said it on the show before. I mean, you're old enough to know that the manager used to play a major role in that. A guy like Bobby the Brain Heenan, who I think was the greatest, even the Grand Wizard with Superstar Billy Graham. And the weird thing was that Superstar Billy Graham could talk, and yet he still had the Grand Wizard talking for him sometimes as well. But I mean, who else? I'm scared.
I mean, even, managers like, even back then, managers would get involved in the matches, even in ECW, people like Paul Heyman
Yep.
getting involved, who's arguably one of the greatest managers of all time.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. So
Definitely.
hopefully it'll get more back to characters than smoke and mirrors, flash and
Exactly.
production.
Right, because we got plenty of characters out there. We got the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt. We got his younger brother, who
Bo
you just have
Dallas.
to believe.
I don't know.
Unbelievable.
Maybe that's the writer that got fired. Came up with that gimmick.
Alexander Rusev, or we got to call him Rusev
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Was that the beginning of the cross-cutting measures? They just got rid of Alexander and they started calling him Rusev?
Yeah. I mean, they went from Antonio Cesaro to Cesaro now,
Right.
and Big E Langston, Big E.
You don't have to put Antonio on the T-shirt anymore. You're saving
You're
20
saving
cents.
funds.
20 cents a letter, I guess.
Exactly. It's all money. It adds up. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. Hey now.
Hey now, but speaking of Wyatt, Cesaro, and all these guys here, the field is now set for the WWE World Title match coming up at Money in the Bank. John Cena qualified at the end of Raw last night, defeating Kane in a stretcher match. Roman Reigns qualified even though he was not supposed to be in the Battle Royal, but because Vicky Guerrero, who was in charge of Raw, was just too tied up with things, with cleaning herself up, shall we say, allowed Reigns to enter himself into the Battle Royal, and thus he won that Battle Royal, and the match is now set. Randy Orton, Alberto Del Rio, Cesaro, U.S. Champ Sheamus, Bray Wyatt will all join Roman Reigns and John Cena for the first ever WWE ladder match. Instead of having the briefcase up there, the WWE title or both belts, because they haven't made it into one belt yet.
Right.
Talk about cost-cutting measures. It'll be for the title. No briefcase this year, I guess.
Right. So what's your prediction is?
My prediction on that would have to be, there's a lot of speculation that they could split up the belts and do Cesaro grab one, Reigns grab one. They could have Cesaro just win the title. It could go either way.
Call it now. What do you think?
Reigns getting the world heavyweight and Cesaro getting the WWE title.
So you're talking split. I like that theory. I really do.
That's a good theory. I don't know if they're going to go there. Well, I'm going to have to go with a heel here. I'm either I wonder now if the other tag match, if Rowan and Harper were to get the tag belts, if Bray Wyatt were to walk away with the WWE title. Thus, they'd have the whole world in their hands.
Yeah. I think I like Will's theory,
Right.
but I do think that Cesaro will end up with both titles, and at some point down the road, I think they're going to lead up to a huge match with Roman Reigns to win the title at WrestleMania. I know it's a long way off.
It's a long way off.
And it's a slow burn, which they used to have. They used to have to make you want it. And they kind of did that a little bit with Daniel Bryan. They kept teasing that he was going to get it and teasing that he was going to get it. And he just, I mean, look at how popular he got. The closer he got to the belt, and each time that he wasn't able to get it for whatever reason, he just got more and more popular. So I think if they pushed a program like that on Roman Reigns, where he was just chasing it, because the chase is always better than the grab, I think. You know, because once your hero gets, the title, then where's there to go?
Your hero gets the title, yeah, and he's going to have to lose the title, and he's going to have to rechase it.
Right. So I really think the thrill of the chase is more exciting for me as a fan than just the
Right.
title changes. The title changes.
Also, at some point, he's going to have to win it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just an
Because the thing
inevitable
is, when
thing.
it grabs your attention, it keeps you wanting to keep watching the product rather than just, as you said, having him win title change after title change after title change.
I think I think changing it too often just makes it less special.
Right.
It's not a big deal. It's almost like student of the month in school. Where you're going to get it eventually. There's
Yeah.
20 kids in the
That
class.
was that was one of the
you
one of the big problems with WCW at the end, that they could never decide who the face of the company was going to be.
Yeah. And it's
At one point they went with David Arquette, but that's just another story altogether.
That'd be like you being the PWA champion.
I'm the North Haven champion.
Yeah.
And I will always be the North Haven champion.
Because you'll never defend the title.
Show us the belt.
You don't have to defend the title. It's under lock and key. It's in a vault
Show us the vault.
at my
It's in the
estate.
vault. It's in the vault.
It's hidden underground.
But anyway,
Anyway,
getting
back to other things here.
Buried treasure.
Buried treasure. It is buried treasure.
enough from the audience.
My buried treasure, sir. It's not too uncommon when Raw rolls into a town, city, whatever, that certain people, advertise the event coming up on radio, on television. And last night they were in Cleveland, and a certain, I guess, CBS station had an interview with Bad News Barrett as well as Cody Rhodes, and Bad News Barrett was discussing a little bit the origins of the character, but more importantly, talking about his desire in the business of becoming the WWE World Champion. Now, I believe he's already had the belt once, but he's pretty much had the Intercontinental Gold behind him most of his career now, spanning a few years.
Yeah.
He would like to get the belt back. And if he was to get the belt back permanent on a sort of regular basis for a few months, that would mean some bad news for the rest of that
Roster.
roster. What do you think of the prospects of that ever happening?
I mean,
It's an ambitious goal of his.
I mean, and I watched TNA, and you saw TNA, Magnus, first British World Champion.
Right.
And I think it could happen with WWE if Barrett gets a big enough. I mean, he has a pretty big push as it is right now, and people are really into his character, for example, because he comes out in the whole arena as everybody. He's like, I've got some bad news, and everybody's saying it along with him.
Oh, yeah.
He could definitely get over enough, like Daniel Bryan with the yes chant.
Are you implying that WWE has never had a British champion? Is that a fact?
WWE.
The British Bulldogs never had a title.
Yeah, the tag team.
I'm talking about like a British World Champion. I don't
Yeah.
think they've had one.
Huh.
I don't believe Davey Boy Smith ever had the WWF
He had
championship.
the European title, but I don't ever remember
Yeah, I
him
don't
having
believe
the.
it. He's vied for the belt, but never won it.
He was king of the ring.
William
Regal was
Regal's
king of the ring, yeah.
king of the ring, but never.
We'll have to research it. You may be right.
Yeah, I think he's right on that, because I remember Davey Boy Smith getting a heel push after Luger went to WCW, and he had him with Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever pulled it off.
What did he fight Brett for at SummerSlam?
That was Intercontinental
Okay.
back in
Yeah,
'92.
we'll have to check that out, but you may be right. I think that's an excellent point.
I want to say he's right.
So now WWE is copying TNA.
WWE is copying TNA, but they might improve upon the idea,
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
as Magnus has not really claimed that belt back.
Yeah.
from what I understand. I mean, I have not been following TNA. I'm not gonna lie.
Not many people have
I'm not
been,
gonna
my
lie to the
friend.
fans out there. I have not really followed it
Right.
too much.
No, not many people have been following it.
People
We'll have to have that as your official
Your special
duties.
assignment.
You are our
Your
official.
punishment.
You're our official. You got to start at the bottom and work your way up,
Yeah.
man. At least we're not
TNA
having you
news.
vacuum the set.
Right, TNA News.
So you're gonna follow TNA for us.
Well, you recently met some superstars as well.
Yeah, I recently met a few people. I met last weekend, I think it was. I met Scott Hall for the second time in the past few years, and he's definitely, after he, went off on a rough path, he's definitely gotten himself back together, and it's good to see Scott doing well.
Yeah.
That's good.
And that was at the NEW?
It was at the NEW show at Emmett O'Brien Tech in Ansonia.
Yeah. And as I mentioned earlier, you were at Access this year, and you met quite a few people there, no?
I went to WrestleMania Access this year, and I met Dean Ambrose of The Shield. Very, very down-to-earth person. He's very humble about where he came from. And the same thing with meeting Dolph Ziggler. Very humble, very nice guy. And then the day of WrestleMania, I met Big E up at the Superdome, and he's the same exact way. Very humble, very funny guy.
Nice.
So you were actually at WrestleMania 30.
I was at WrestleMania 30, drove 27 hours, including rest stops,
from Connecticut all the
from
way to New
Connecticut all
Orleans.
the way there.
That's a
And then
fan.
decided to go to the WrestleMania Superstore and then go crash at the hotel.
How would you get to New Orleans from here? That's a shoot right down 95.
Shot right down 95 and just follow, luckily had the GPS, which kind of helped out and printed out some directions.
Not your GPS. by the
No,
way.
my GPS.
Hey, we got a call.
Let's put it
Wow. You're live on the Squared Circle.
Well, I heard you talking about the chase being more important than the grab. I thought for a second you were talking about my marriage.
There we go.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good
How are
evening.
you?
We are wonderful.
through. We are very, very wonderful. Ed, how are you tonight, sir?
Very well, very well. First things first, if I may, Jay. Congratulations on a very fine time in the Brantford Road Race. I saw what was it, 41-12 was it?
41-23.
41-23. Nice,
Right.
nice. And how did it go that day?
Oh, it was it was a little tough. I was operating on not too much sleep, but I figured I could handle it anyway. I did it in a lot faster time than I actually anticipated myself doing it in, because I have not had the chance to train as much as in the past previous years. But I did pretty good.
As I recall, that's not an easy course. I know there's a couple of hills in there, aren't there?
There's a couple pretty serious hills out there, but it's a pretty good course. It takes you right by the water, by Thimble Islands.
Yep, okay.
It's beautiful,
Well-
actually.
Congratulations. Listen, where's the Thunderous one?
He is on vacation. This guy, to get him to come to work is getting to be a chore.
Don't I know it?
He's got a lot of seniority at the studio, though, so we give him, he wants a
Well, if
vacation
you see him,
time.
tell him I said hello. I really don't have any wrestling or boxing to talk about, but can I throw a trivia question?
Go right ahead.
20 years ago today, do you know what happened?
It was 20 years ago today that Sergeant... No, that's something else.
No.
Mr. O.J. Simpson.
Ah, very good, very good. Yep.
Yes.
I didn't realize it, but ESPN ran one of their 30 on 30 specials.
Yep.
Talked about it, and it was amazing between the New York Rangers parade and then the New York Knicks game against the Rockets. And I'm trying to think. I don't even know if George the Animal Steel and Miss Elizabeth or the Undertaker was around back then. Probably not, but that's it. All right, gentlemen, that's all I wanted to contribute tonight. I want to congratulate Jason, and we'll see him at the races.
Thank
Definitely,
you.
yeah. We'll be doing New Haven this year, too. I might go for the long one this year.
Excellent, excellent. Well, you got plenty of time to train.
Oh, definitely.
Excellent.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Of course, the Thunderous One's partner, Ed McCarver, can be seen on Talking with Tom, usually the first Tuesday of each month. And I've had the pleasure of being on the show as well as you have.
Oh, of course.
And we're looking to get this young man. This young man has a band as well. Your
He
band
does.
is The Show Must Go On.
Yeah, my band is The Show Must Go On.
Quick plug.
We have a tour coming up running through Brookfield August 11th. And we'd definitely like to see some new faces out there.
What kind of music do you play?
I'd actually consider it a mix of rock and alternative.
And you do, I know you do originals as well as covers.
Yeah, I
What-
do originals mainly, sometimes covers.
What are some of the covers that you guys like to do?
Bands like Panic at the Disco.
Wow. So you are modern.
Modern, classic. You pretty much. I mean, that's my kind of music right there. Somebody that's versatile and can do it all.
And what's your function in the band?
I am actually the singer.
Excellent.
Excellent.
So Chris Jericho at heart.
Yeah. Wrestling and music are my two passions. So
Chris Jericho. There
Definitely check you out.
we are. So do you have a website, Facebook fan page? any
yeah,
of
we
that
have a
happy?
Facebook. The Show Must Go On. Just search us up on Facebook.
And Twitter or any of that
No,
stuff?
just
or-
Facebook.
Just Facebook right now. Okay.
Nothing wrong with Facebook.
We got to get you a media consultant.
Mhm. Yep.
Maybe Mr. Dacey, since he's got so much time on his hands.
Where is he vacationing? Is he in Honolulu or
He's at Parts Unknown.
parts of? Oh, I always wanted to go there.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of wrestlers come from Parts Unknown.
Right. I mean, I was hoping he wasn't in Vegas because if he's looking for the person that's over there,
Yeah, we've got a Vegas transplant going to happen real soon.
right.
But
We don't want to talk about that too much right now.
yeah, we got a lot of great stuff happening.
Got a lot of great
going
stuff
on. A lot
happening.
of stuff going on.
A lot of stuff going on, but the cost-cutting measures for the talent, the people we will no longer be seeing around anymore. Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, Oksana. Now these three are major players, sort of,
Yeah, a little bit.
a little bit. Brodus Clay, we haven't really seen too much of him lately.
That was a
anyhow.
shock.
Right. Camacho, Yoshitatsu, Kurt Hawkins, Evan Bourne, Teddy Long, and referee Mark Harris.
And I'm really surprised that they dropped the ball on Evan Bourne because he was, tweeting really recently that he was going to make a comeback.
I have a feeling that's connected to some of his wellness violations.
Could be that too.
And hopefully he's able to beat his demons and get back on track.
I know.
But, he's been out for quite some time, but I was really surprised. The two biggest surprises were Brodus Clay, because they were really big on him and behind him. He was in the Scooby-Doo movie, and he was at least the younger fans' favorite,
Right.
with his dancing gimmick and bringing kids in the ring and stuff. But the other surprise was Teddy Long. He has been around, God,
Teddy, I remember Teddy Long
So
from
long.
WCW.
yeah. I
In
mean,
the late
He was
80s, early
refereeing in the
90s.
Attitude Era.
right. And you would think they would find something for this guy to do. I mean, maybe because he's been around so long, he's at the top of, the money,
scale?
yeah, the pay scale. And maybe it was, hey,
Right.
it's not a huge player. Speaking of Mr. Dacey, let's see if we can get a call from Parts Unknown. Mr. Dacey,
Ask and you shall receive. It is a thunderous one.
reporting from Parts Unknown.
How's your vacation to Parts Unknown?
I don't want to disclose where I am because I don't want those meddling kids to find me. Unfortunately, they got to my van again.
Oh, the van.
Again.
Yes.
I'll tell you. You know what? We're going to have to get you a jet. And,
You should consider leasing a new van.
yes,
I think so.
Right.
a jet and a hangar.
One
they're
of those
knocking
dealers
up.
in Brantford, I hear right now has some pretty good deals.
Yeah. I just got some smoking new wheels myself.
But I want to ask you guys, what do you think of Cody's new gimmick, Stardust?
Are they going to? The question is, are they going to keep it, or is this going to be a one-off deal?
I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool, in a way, kind of honoring Goldust.
Stardust. I think I was in the kitchen. I was on a conference call.
So you don't have any Stardust memories?
I don't have any Stardust memories at this point.
It's a Woody Allen moment.
What do you
What?
think Dusty feels about this?
You know what? I mean, he's got to be down with it in order for it to happen, I guess. I would assume that somebody with his tenure has some sort of creative say.
And I was just doing some research. I heard you mentioning before, and there has never been a British champion.
Excellent. So,
British
props to
Bulldog
Will.
came close a few times. He was the #1 contender. But due to a heart attack, was kind of cut short.
Wow.
Right.
You are correct.
Excellent job. Thank you for that research, Mr. Dacey.
You're welcome. You know, working hard on the old laptop here.
Yep. Working hard on your lap. Top.
That's it. Hey.
But looking forward to Saturday in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Yeah, we haven't touched upon that yet.
We haven't touched upon that. Yeah, we're gonna be doing that.
Yeah, we got
pretty
to hit that
soon.
really quick. But yes, we will see you on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Definitely. We'll see you Saturday.
That wrap it up for you, Tommy?
Yes, Hollywood, I'll touch base with you later about the arrangements for Saturday.
We will be discussing the arrangements for Saturday.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and great show once again, and hopefully I'll be back next week.
Thank
Right.
you.
I'll
Thank you.
I'll contact you after we're off the air.
Looking
Excellent.
forward to it.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Bye.
Of course, the Thunderous one, Tom Dacey.
Parts unknown. Save
He
me a
mentions the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, the list of talent. You've met a lot of those guys already.
Want me to
I've
roll it?
seen your portfolio. Go right ahead.
Let's do it.
Wow, here's the list. Sit
We
back and
have
enjoy this.
sit back and enjoy this. I have the list of who's going to be in attendance, or just about the entire list of who's going to be.
Did
in
you get
attendance.
today's announcement too?
No.
Ah,
So I'll go through this list, and
Yep.
you give me today's
Yes.
announcement
Yes.
after that, and then I have the list of all the inductees into the class of 2014. I'm going to be honored to be attending that event.
absolutely.
As
We're
as
covering it, yes.
We're all covered. We're going to be there. It's going to be a day for the independent wrestlers, for the Hall of Fame inductees, and here is the list. At FanFest, the super ticket guests will include Greg the Hammer Valentine, Diana Hart Smith, wife of the late, speaking of British, the
Yep.
British Bulldog Davy Boy Smith, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, former NWA champion Handsome Harley Race, Maria Kanellis, everybody remembers her, Maria from WWE, Matt Stryker, Clarence Mason, Deborah, Scott Norton, Luke Williams, Crystal Marshall, Big Bully Busick, Nick Busick, Joey Styles, the former ECW announcer,
Yep.
Carly Leilani Perez, referee Jimmy Corderas, Daniel Pewter from Tough Enough, Taylor Hendricks, formerly of TNA, Mark Canterbury and Dennis Knight, who used to be known as the Godwins, Ken Doan, Scott Putski, Jose Luis Rivera, Shelly Martinez, formerly of ECW,
Yep.
Larry Zbyszko, the former AWA champion himself, our own friend Mario Mancini,
Yes.
of course,
Yes.
John Cena Sr., not Junior, John Cena Sr., who's a big promoter up here in the area.
Yep.
Big O, Zack Ryder's good friend. From the indie scene, Antonio Promise Thomas and Giovanni
Former
J.
guest of our show.
and Giovanni J. Roselli.
Yep.
That's the super ticket guests.
Yes.
Now, what do you have for the big announcement?
Just
for
announced today, one half of Power and Glory, Mr. Paul Roma,
Mr. Paul Roma.
who you caught a glimpse of on our show earlier in the year. I
Right.
think it was February, March. He worked with. We had a little workout with him and Mario Mancini.
One half of Power and Glory, a former member of the Four Horsemen.
Yes, yes. And I'll tell you, when I saw him, I think it was like February when we ran that clip. When I saw him and filmed that, he is still jacked. He is still in great shape and looks as good as he
He
ever
still
did.
got it.
He still got it. And Mario Mancini is still great friends with him, and finally talked him in at the last hour to get his butt up to the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. And they're going to have tables right next to one another, so you're going to be able to see our friend Mr. Mario Mancini and Paul Roma.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Good friends.
And yeah, Mario confirmed it with me earlier today.
That's great.
So yeah, we were attempting to coordinate lunch, but he got called away on business.
Oh, I see. So what do you think of this list here?
So I had the Jersey Mikes myself.
Oh, okay.
So Mario, I still owe you a sandwich.
What do you think of this list here, guys?
I think it's fantastic. That's not even the entire list, I believe. I think there's going to be some other surprises there as well. But
That definitely sounds like a fantastic list. And, you know, meeting someone like Jim Neidhart, definitely someone worth meeting.
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah,
Definitely.
hey, you never know. Where's Raw this week? Where's WWE this
Coming
weekend?
up this week, I have no idea.
They're in D.C. It's not too far of a ride for Natalia to come up and see her daddy.
No, absolutely
So you'll
not.
never know.
It's
never
not,
know
it's
who's
not
going
too
to be
far.
there.
It's not too far of a ride for John Cena to come up and see his father.
His daddy also.
And even meeting John Cena Sr., very nice guy to meet.
Yeah, he
Really,
was swell.
very
And,
down to earth.
Every time they have a taping up here, he's always at the shows and always greeting and meeting people after shows.
Yeah, and he knows Jacob from seeing with PWA. And he knows my older son Dylan from his film work on PWA, because Mr. John Cena Sr. has been at a few of the PWA events.
Right.
And he's been wonderful.
He runs a
to
promotion
both of
up
my
in the
sons.
area too, does he not?
Big time.
Oh.
Or not sure.
We did have a caller. Please call back. I'm sorry we didn't get to you. We were just in the middle of the list. And, you know, things happen sometimes. If you call in, please try calling again. Last week we dropped a call by accident when we were running the pre-taped interview between Aubrey and Uraja Zero.
Right.
Again, we try to get to your calls as quick as possible, but and we also try to keep momentum as well. But please call again if you will.
Definitely. We have a list too of inductees for the class of 2014. We did, of course, number one on that list, Mario.
Yes.
Mario Mancini.
Yes.
Also joining him, Connecticut's legendary independent hardcore to the bones icon, Mr. Ron Zombie, of course.
Yes, another former guest of the show.
Another former guest of the show. Met him. I've known Ron for years. What am I trying to say? Man, we interviewed him when we first started our first debut episode. We had some footage from the North Haven Fair in 2012.
Yeah, and we recently saw him at another event and got the update on his knee replacement and his band Nasty Disaster. And he just won Best Metal Bands from what used to be The Advocate, CT Now.
CT Now?
Yeah,
They
the
call it.
newspaper, yeah. But yeah, because they merged all the Fairfield Advocate, the New Haven Advocate, and he just won Best Metal Band in the Readers' Poll. So he tweeted out a picture of him and his trophy. So good fortune for him.
Good.
We're excited for him.
No, I'm definitely excited for him.
So now he's going to have another piece of hardware.
He's gonna have
Have you seen Ron Zombie before?
I've seen him a few times. Actually saw him this past weekend when he wrestled at NEW, wrestled a tag team steel cage match with Brian Anthony against the Platinum Entourage, and it was definitely a very good match, and it was definitely worth staying for the main
Where he's a
event.
musician as well?
I was actually aware of that.
Yeah, so there's another guy,
Right.
rock and roll and wrestling. The rock and wrestling connection goes all the way back. Cindy
Exactly.
Lauper started it, and now we got...
Ron Zombie had a classic feud going back in the mid-90s with Rex Lethal,
yes.
and they used to tear it up everywhere. I remember the New Britain Sports Palace. I don't even know if it's still there. I can't even remember the name of that promotion, but I mean, they almost just we had a table, Steve Cundy and I, with wrestling merchandise on it, and it practically got destroyed.
All right, we'll take that call now.
Let's do it.
Caller, you are live on the Squared Circle.
Hey guys, it's Bill from North Haven. How are you?
Hey, I hope that wasn't you we lost a moment ago.
What's that?
I hope that wasn't you that we lost. We lost a call a little while ago. Hope that wasn't you.
No, it wasn't me. Hey,
Okay.
I'm just letting you know, I got you on my contact list, and I'm actually on the road, and I'm calling you from up in Rochester, New York.
Oh, great. Nice area.
That's how much I remember your show, so I'll keep it kind of quick. But I just wanted to get your opinion of last night's Raw. I can't really see the show today, but I was curious how you thought the show went last night.
Well, we were talking, they just got rid of the head writer, and we believe that a lot of what you saw last night was written on the fly or on the last minute. And it seemed like a lot of it had Vince's fingerprints on it. So it was interesting, and we were just discussing it, and we're excited to see where it's going to go. Because now there's been an internal shakeup. I don't know if you heard about all the shall we say, firings, but they let a lot of people go, both in front of the camera and behind the scenes. So there's going to be a massive shakeup going on.
There's probably more still to come. So
Yeah.
I would not doubt.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you know what? I kind of just looking at the show. As crazy as it may seem, I actually really liked the whole Gold Dust and Stardust thing. I thought that was like that. Something that I thought was a long time in coming.
Yep.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see what they do there. I thought the whole. I was a little disappointed. It looks like they're splitting Roman Reigns and Ambrose. I mean, I think they're trying to really cut that whole Shield thing, just from the way I saw it.
yep.
Yeah, they are. I think.
Which is a little disappointing, but I guess it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I thought I just think that overall they're really looking at the show based on some of the stuff you see off the internet. It's like I think they're realizing that maybe the show is getting a tiny bit stale, and they need to do something to spark some life in it because I think they could be losing. People could be losing some interest, and I think that's what they're probably worried about the most.
Right, you have to do things different. You have to be able to adapt and change yourself, especially with new competition coming up.
Yeah, I really think you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, they finally realized that we've seen every combination of the superstars that they have, and we've seen it all, and we need something different and new, and hopefully this is a new direction.
Yeah, and the last question I have is, do you guys think? I mean, if you go back through the years, you kind of look at how they're running their show now, and you look at a lot of the indie cards out there with a lot of these different organizations. Do you guys feel that the time is right for and obviously I've talked about TNA before, but do you think the time is right for one promotion to kind of step out and start to put maybe a little bit of pressure, kind of like the what ECW did years ago, to step out and put some pressure on the WWE and possibly kill off TNA and be that next good promotion?
Well, we're closely watching Jeff Jarrett and what he's doing with his new Global Force Wrestling, and he's literally been scouring the globe and hiring talent worldwide, and it's just a matter of time before he gets some sort of TV deal, and it's going to happen. And if his track record with the first 10 years of TNA stands for anything, it will be something exciting. And I, for one, am looking forward to somebody coming in and giving Vince at least some competition.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view for Ring of Honor this Sunday night. Because I want to see. You never know in the future if they get a cable contract. I think they may have to tweak their product a little bit, but that's another big competitor to Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
I
think the waters are ripe right now for some other organization to come in and hopefully at least grab a strong, firm number 2 spot.
Yeah, I think you guys are exactly right. So,
Thank you.
Listen, I appreciate you guys taking my call, and I'm going to sign off. But again, great conversation, and hopefully sometime soon I get down there to be in the studio audience.
Great.
Definitely, we would love to have you.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, take care.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you very much.
And what do you think? I mean, your opinion on Global Force or maybe Ring of Honor stepping up a little bit?
I think, Global Force, Jeff Jarrett keeps teasing a lot of ex-WWE talents like, Hurricane Helms, and even he tweeted the other day when all the releases came out, the independent wrestling talent pool was already pretty deep, but it just got deeper because, I'd rather go to an independent show, like going to, like, say, an NEW show or a PWA show, you know. Like Matt Hardy, for example, someone who was up there for years, goes down into the indies now and is talking about how indie wrestling, you know, people like Vince don't make wrestling. It's the fans that make the wrestling. And the independents are probably where the best talent is at the moment.
Well, I would have to agree with that.
I would
because,
have
you
to
know,
say that, you know.
these guys are trying harder to please the fans, and you know it's more up and close and personal. And going back to they can't rely on the spectacle. They can't rely on the pyro and the show. So the only talent and the only entertainment in the indie scene is in the ring.
Exactly.
You know.
The only thing that disturbs me about indies is it's not the indies themselves. It's what Triple H did. Were you aware of this at all? Triple H did some kind of interview with a Chicago, like a newspaper, and he said about the Performance Center, if you want to learn the right way, if you want to learn to become a professional wrestler, contact the Performance Center because it's the only way to learn. And it almost sounded like, to me like he wasn't even going to take any independent experience into account. Like, you know, you're doing it wrong, or we don't want you.
Right.
You know,
It kind of does sound like that. you
it
know,
did
you
sound
can put
like
it
that. It
way.
did sound like a slap in the face. Not whether he really meant that or not, I don't know.
Well, yeah, hey,
You know.
if that's all they're going to take, they're going to end up, as I've said before, that if their system is going to create their superstar, eventually you're going to have everybody that's going to be cookie cutter. They're all going to be the same. They're all going to have just the traits that they're trained to have.
Right.
And we've said it before. If you've got guys like Chris Jericho, you listen to him. He's like, I went to Japan and I spent years in Japan and I learned the Japanese style. He went to Mexico and he learned the lucha style. And, and you go over to Europe and you learn. Everybody does things differently. And if you listen to Joseph von Schmidt, he's been in this business a hell of a long time, and he's still learning.
Long time.
And he's still got things to learn. And he goes worldwide, and he learns some different technique and different moves and different styles.
He wants to be a world-class sports entertainer, athlete.
And I mean, there's countless people that WWE has that came from the independents. You have Cesaro, who's wrestling as Claudio Castagnoli. You have Daniel Bryan, who's wrestling as Bryan Danielson. You have tons of people. Even Luke Harper wrestled on the indies for forever until he got to WWE. Even someone like AJ Styles, who got to TNA, WCW.
They all started. They even say Hogan was doing high school gyms at one point to begin with. That's how he started.
Well, I really think experience outside of the WWE gives you a lot more to bring to the WWE.
It does. So, I mean, if he's really serious about that, that's pretty sad.
Now you're come from a music background. If all you emulate is, Iron Maiden, that's all you're going to sound like. And if that's all that you listen to, and that's all you learn is Iron Maiden, even when you write your own material, it's going to sound like Iron Maiden.
And you know what? It's a very hypocritical statement too if that's the way he feels, because that's where he started.
Right, in the independents.
In the independents.
Hey, you know what? I got a little surprise for you. I was asked to rerun this clip of you. A little reminder that somebody has a grudge to pick with you. If we can run that clip.
Let's run the clip.
If we could run that clip.
Run that beautiful.
Run that beautiful bean footage. I guess we're having.
Oh,
there we go.
him.
The B plus player.
Shoot.
Here we are with Saru, which Jay had the syphilis calls you a B player. You want to see it back?
This is a $5,000 haircut, buddy. You're good, but I don't think you're ever going to be the PWA champion. What?
Neither are you.
I'm not running for champion.
Yeah, because you don't deserve it.
I don't deserve it?
Yeah.
I'm not a wrestler. But if I was a wrestler, I would definitely be a PWA
Well, he's
championship
challenging
contender.
you to a wrestling match.
Is that a challenge, Saru?
Do you want me to put the North Daily title up against you, Saru? okay? Good luck, team. North Haven title.
We have a match.
And the Saru movement.
Oh! Saru rules.
I just don't get it with this guy.
He told me that he's ready to fight for the title. Now, if you're not going to put up the North Haven title on the line, we may have to come up with some satisfaction for Saru.
Some satisfaction for Saru.
He's going to be entered into the tournament. We'll give you a little heads up. He's going to be entered into a tournament for a title. Now, if you're not going to put up the North Haven title, we're going to have to possibly come up with
I can
some
put
other
that North
alternative.
Haven title on the line against whoever I want, whenever I want. If I want to put it, I don't have to defend that thing until I'm 50 if I don't want to.
Beginning next week, there will be a tournament for a new title in PWA, and Joseph von Schmidt will have a major.
He's a dangerous
announcement.
animal, John. He needs to be in a cage or something. That's a monkey. That's a wild monkey.
Now, wait a minute. Are you proposing a cage match now?
I'm not proposing it.
No.
Don't put words in my mouth now.
What did you hear, Mr.
I said he needs to be in a cage.
So he needs to be in a cage.
I don't need to be in a cage. I don't need to be in a cage with him.
Well, we're going to have to see if we can ink that contract.
No, I love the PWA powers, if you don't get me wrong, but why would you want a zoo animal as the face of your company?
Hey, you know what? I really think he's a talented zoo animal, and I don't think you're going to have the power to spank him.
I don't want to spank him, believe me. Saru.
Saru.
Of all the gimmicks I've seen, Saru.
Saru is awesome. Love him. PWA.
TL Hopper was funny. Barry Darso with the golf clubs, that was pretty funny. Saru.
Saru. I'll tell you.
A zoo animal.
I think
A dancing zoo animal.
I think you need to be very careful, because you might find yourself in the cage with Saru.
I'm not going in any cage with Saru. He already damaged my last haircut. He's not damaging
I know
this
you got a
hair.
new haircut.
I
We
got
got
a
matching shirts today. Unfortunately,
You're matching my shirt. I'm
Where's
not
the new
matching
guy? I
yours.
didn't get the memo. But next time we'll coordinate better.
Well, I mean, this shirt here signifies that is our official TNA watcher.
There you go.
That's it. That's the TNA watcher's uniform.
RVD is currently on, but this is a TNA shirt, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it TNA shirt?
Yeah, it was leftover from when RVD left.
You're wearing a TNA shirt on my show.
RVD. I thought it was our show.
Our show. Oh.
RVD. Anyway.
All right, fine. I'll let it slide. But
Hey,
the next time,
It's RVD.
it is RVD. RVD, I met RVD before, too.
Yeah. I met him right up the street at the diner after the last time he was in town with TNA.
Ringside Seat, one of my earlier productions.
Yep.
We had him as a guest back when he was ECW television champion.
Wow.
We went out and partied with him until I don't know when.
Hey, don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask. I won't tell anything about. Well, never mind. RVD remembers.
If you partied with him, he may not remember.
There again, he might not. Maybe he was a little. I don't know. But anyway,
One toke over the line.
getting back to our Hall of Fame inductees for 2014
Yep.
for the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. We also have Jim the Anvil Neidhart, British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, both deserving, definitely. Billy Silverman, who is a referee, no relation to Sarah Silverman, the comedian. Matt Bourne, the late great Matt Bourne, Doink the Clown. Jose Luis Rivera, one of the other famous jobbers.
Yep.
Shall we call him?
Oh.
We can do that. Knuckles Nelson, very big on the indie scene
Yep.
back in the mid to late 90s. Draven, Luis Ortiz, Curtis Slam Dog. That's another name I haven't heard in a long time. Pat Piper, I believe, managing. I don't know if he's any relation to Roddy?
I don't know. We're gonna have to
He
find
did have
out
his-
from the induction
Roddy does
speech.
have his son it's involved with wrestling.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's him. Steve Stallion, Jason Rumble, John Cena Sr. will be inducted. Stacy Lopez, Bobby Cruz, another name we all know.
Yep.
And the Mercenary,
Wow.
another person that had a long-running feud with Ron
Yeah.
Zombie
Yep.
back in the day.
Well, I'm hoping everything will be a great weekend, and we can't thank Mario Mancini enough for having us involved and coming on our show, and the guy's been so generous with his time with us, and God, we love him to death, and he's helped us even behind the scenes, and
Exactly.
he's become a really trusted friend to me, and I'll be home in the afternoon, and he'll just call me up randomly, and we'll just shoot the
Oh, yeah.
breeze. Not even about wrestling.
ran
Just
into him in the
ask how
deli
the kids
comfort.
are. Yeah.
All the time.
And he's just a great man, and I'm glad that he's finally getting his recognition, and maybe the WWE will wake up and realize the contribution that not just Mario made, but guys like Johnny Rods, and all of the guys that let's face it, they were called jobbers, and somebody's got to do it, and when they say Hogan was a 10-time champion or whatever the number is, they had to beat somebody, and they had to get to that title match by beating a succession of people. And if you didn't have guys like Mario and Johnny Rods and the Brooklyn Brawler and fellas like that, there would be no story.
Exactly.
So we really appreciate Mario and all the guys that he's inspired.
Mario's first match, we've said it a zillion times on this, was against The Undertaker.
Yeah, you knew that, right?
Yeah, I did know that.
And even though it was aired out of order,
Right.
He was, chronologically, The Undertaker's very first match.
Very, very, very.
Back when he was,
first
I
match.
believe he was managed by Jim Cornette at the time.
No, it was
No,
Brother Love.
Brother Love. My mistake. My mistake.
Jim Cornette had not even made it
Right,
to
right,
the
right, right. Brother Love.
WWE at that point. But,
Two red-faced guys.
right, I got the red face because of the road race.
Running in the road race. Wrapping it up real quick. Your Facebook for your band is
The show must go on.
The Show Must Go On.
I'll wrap it up real quick saying the worst of the week. Looks like I'm going to need a new vehicle. Looks like we're both getting upgrades here.
Yeah, I got some smoking new wheels. I'm really excited for it.
Looks like I probably will need some smoking new wheels.
Yep.
Leaving it there. Want to send some well wishes out to Jim Ross, who had some health complications. We didn't get to it last week, but hopefully he'll be all right. He's going to be eating better now, I guess, and traveling a little less, according to his own personal blog. But hopefully he'll be all right.
That leaves some more barbecue for us. You have any last thoughts?
And I wanted to thank you guys for having me on the show.
Thank you.
You are officially hired as a Squared Circle contributor.
There we go.
There we go.
Your salary is you owe us $10 a week.
Right, exactly.
There we go.
Do you
I
have
gotta pay for those
two
wheels
20s
somehow.
for a 10 now?
There we go. But I think that'll do it.
That'll do it. I'm Hollywood J. Williams.
I'm John Zimmerman.
Good night and good luck. We'll see you this Saturday up in West Warwick, Rhode Island.